Good morning. How's everybody doing? It is 7:24 a.m. in Chicago. 427. 427. All right. Big day today. My mom has a birthday today. 82 years old. 82 years old. Take that, huh? All right. What do we have this morning? Chips? No? Huh. No. We got semis on the move. All right. More to the upside. Qualcomm up 11% this morning. AMD just busted out last week, and it looks like they want to keep running here. Micron tips over 510. ARM has made a move to the upside. Taiwan Semi had a great day Friday in that thing, staying in that thing. All right, still the stall out. It seems though on the Marvel. So that will pick up its own agenda when it wants to. Apple is lower. Okay, Apple is lower. It's just in the semis right now. Broadcom is lower this morning. All right, Google kind of pulling back a little bit. They already made their move. But today, it looks like it's going to be semi-day, and that is for damn sure, at least right out the gate here. Looking at the NASDAQ right now, we're at 27,411. We're in the stratosphere, high of ever. All right. I see the diamonds. I see the diamonds trying to get up a little bit here. We're going to see what happens with our sectors, and that's what I want to start with the chart that you're looking at right now. The ones you can't see, I'll fill them in, okay? So starting with the day here. All right, XLI Industrials. This is not telling us much, okay? But I'm going to move that screen over so you can see it. All right, how about that? All right, so here is your XLI. You got this move to the downside, and then you got a bunch of numbers around here that make no sense to me whatsoever. All right, so this is not really giving us any guidance here. 172. So slightly lower on your XLIs, on your industrials. Again, you got Apple is lower. But Triple M and Honeywell are looking better here. And even Cisco. When is Cisco going to go? All right. I've really given up on Cisco. This thing is just needs to get with Poncho and go riding around. Not much doing there. All right. So industrials, we'll see if I'm in there. And you know me. I love that Dow. All right, so XLI 172.47 here, slightly lower here this morning to start the day on your XLI. That's what I'm pointing at. All right, semis on the move here with the XLK coming back down. The Cloudflare stocks are not faring as well. All right, this is really coming in on the dialing in on the semis right now. All right, so XLK making a move to the downside here. This has been a really big push too. All right, this is just some profit taking from the overnights as we start to get a little bit closer. All right, so let's see what happens with XLI. XLK just a little lower here, pulling back, but real good strength. And I'm seeing them. They're all starting to give it up on there. And I'll go through some of them as we go. All right, so there's your XLK kind of pulling back a little bit after just a pretty massive move to the upside. All right, and we got some energy moving around here a little bit. Chevron is 2-2 up on the 4-hour as we get closer to starting the day here. I should have these on 4s. And there you go. XLE with the shoot with the hammer coming back up on the insider. All right, energy's a little better this morning. All right, crude not so much. Chevron is sticking its snout out at there a little bit, and along with Exxon. So we'll watch ConocoPhillips, Exxon, Chevron, Valero, and then if we watch the OIH on the drillers, some of those are looking a little better too. All right, I could switch that one over and look at the OIH. Okay, drillers on the move here, 441.10. This thing's going to all-time highs right now. All right. So OIH, right? So what are you going to be looking for? You're going to be looking for Schlumberger, Halliburton, HP. All right, Precision Drilling, PDS, Diamond Offshore, any one of those ones that that drill for oil. All right, so energy, a little bit better here, popping back up. All right, we'll see how that sector, see if that sector can hold up. All right, that's what that one's gonna be about. All right, so XLE. A little bit better. Trying to come back up here, a little bit higher here, right? Closed at 56.87. Traded about 25 cents higher. Utilities just starting to move to the upside on the XLUs. This is all overnight business now, so big chopping around. My mama told me you better. All right, 46.26 there, 46.26. All right, so we'll see what happens. Why are these on 30-minute bars? I do not know why. All right, there you go with the 4-2-1 cooking inside now on the XLC. See if get these utilities going. Check out NEE. Check out Duke, DUK. I could give you tickers all day long. I know them all. All right, Southern, SO, Southern Man. All right, Southern, Duke, NEE, XEL, ED. All right, XLU. All right, so XLU utilities looking a little bit better. And Oklahoma is down, and CEG and the other guys have kind of pulled back down. I've seen them right. I'm looking across here. I'm looking at everything as I'm talking here. So I see CEG starting to drop a little bit. Oklahoma's been dropping back down. So your nuclears, all right, they're starting to pull back a bit. That was a big move from Oklahoma from 45 bucks up to $70. They're going to cool their jets. And I think that trade's so far out still to worry about it in 2035, all right, 2034, something like that. All right. So I don't put a lot of I don't trade these things that heavily, but it's nice to pick up a good move, and that was a big move when we got down to $45 on that Oklahoma. We were watching that one. I made some money in there. I just didn't get what I really wanted to get out of that. So many stocks, so little time. All right. So XLF financials. This one's kind of been a little iffy at best. Robinhood made the move to the upside. I watched that move, and it just kind of fell apart. Goldman Sachs. Watch the big guys on this one, and I'll go through a couple names as we go through. All right, so XLF coming back down right now, 51.37, slightly lower. Not much going on here. Futures are holding up pretty well. All right, the S&P 500 creates another new high, 71.68. I don't think we stop till we get to 7,400, maybe even more. Before we get any kind of reversal that starts to come back inside. Unless bombs start going off, all this other business, we'll see about that. All right, because that could definitely put the squelch on it. So watch your SQs. Watch the VIX. All right, watch that bear. All right, so XLF, there you go, just slightly lower here. XLP, Staples. Looks like they cooled off over the weekend. They were hot as hell on Friday. I will go through a couple names on those as well. Monster's kind of pulling back here. Cisco's on the move. SYY is moving to the upside. And then you got Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is a strange stock. Once you get in there, just strap yourself in for the ride. As long as you know that the month is in your favor and you're going the right way, then you should be good with Coca-Cola. All right. So XLP again a little bit lower here. All right, just drifting down here on the morning. All right. XLY. I'm going to go back up here again, guys, to this one. All right, XLY. Now, this group too. Walmart. I'm looking at it. It's puking down right now. All right, it closed at 129.92. It's trading down to 128.86 as we speak, coming back down on your discretionaries. All right, Target already made that move to the upside. Now they're kind of stalling out. Right now it's all about chip land, and we're going to start getting earnings at the end of this week. And I'll tell you, it takes one miss out of one of these big guys, and everything's going to freaking cool off fast. I'll tell you that. All right? And we'll see. All right? We will definitely see as we start to see these earnings. All right? So, got to be cautious and cautiously optimistic. All right? Stick with that forever. All right? So there's your XLY on your discretionaries here. Not telling us too much here, but like I just said, you're starting to see some of Amazon. Amazon's coming back down right now. All right, I'll go through some of those as we get through closer. All right, so I just want you to get a flavor of what's going on with the Dow, because you know that's what I like. All right, so XLI a little lower, XLY unchanged pretty much for the most part. Pretty much everything's unchanged for the most. I got Energy's better. XLK is taking a breather. That thing should go right back up, and we'll see if those financials can get going. That is for that. All right. What do we got this morning? Got a couple stocks here that are moving this morning on CrowdStrike on an upgrade. Very nice move here from 448.13 up to 454.13. So nice move here. Had a good day Friday. Posted up a pretty nice hammer on the daily. Not too bad. 4 hours got up to 460. Now she's backing off to 454. She's trading about $5 and change higher. We'll see if the rest of that crew can join that party. Fortinet, FTNT, Fortinet. What are you doing? 2-1 inside, 84.70, slightly higher. All right, they ain't getting no upgrade. All right, what's the other one there? Okta. I'm not going to go through a lot of them. Okta. All right, Okta, there you go. All right, Okta coming trying to fight back in. There you go. All right, so what happens? When the market gets better, they dump the cybers. Okay? They don't want to put money in unless they have to. It's like insurance. They don't want to pay for it. All right, Okta. All right, we'll see what happens to that one. All right, so Okta, I'm not going to spend, again, too much time on that. All right, Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza is a miss, man, and it's moving lower to the downside, and they're going to repurchase stock. So you know how that one always works. Just give them more stock. I'm sure that'll help it. I don't know about that. All right, so there's your puker coming down on your pizza. All right. So Domino's, kind of a miss there big time too, all right? So down $15 and change, and she's going to be down a little over 4% to the downside this morning on Domino's Pizza, all right? So that's your discretionaries, all right? It's going to hit your discretionary area, all right? So we'll see what Domino's Pizza wants to bring from there. Verizon, which is in your communications list, and boy, is that garbage. I see Netflix down again. So in that group right now, Verizon doesn't ever do anything ever anymore. I don't even know what Verizon does anymore. I guess they still, will soon be linking to satellites, right? We won't even have to pay for this. We'll see about that. All right, Verizon, a little better here. Stretch the field a little bit on this big outsider, so you're going to be stuck inside all of this business right now. All right, it finishes with the 2-1 day inside, so that's going to be a 2-1-2 back up at 47.78, taking out the 2-day, and then you would go for pivot machine gun if you really want to start to get aggressive with Verizon, but I wouldn't get too crazy about it. All right, and then AT&T had an upgrade as well. AT&T better start getting its act together with these satellites, otherwise they're going to be left behind. So we'll see here, 2-1 inside right now, looking exactly like Verizon. I mean, seriously? All right, and there's your coming back down on your AT&T, Ma Bell. All right, so that's kind of, those were earnings. All right, those were all earnings here, except for CrowdStrike. That was just a little bit of a whatever that was. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go and take a look at what's moving here. What's pushing the markets this morning? It is the Nasdaq to the highs. All right, Nasdaq just doesn't want to give up. We're gonna be at 30K here soon, folks. All right. We're going to hit 30K, and it's going to happen, all right? It's going to happen sooner or later, unless some bombs go off, and then we got some different stories, all right? But NASDAQ, just beautiful, right? Everything to the upside. 27,542. All right, so we'll look for expansion from there, and then we'll see what happens there. What's moving this morning? AMD's on the move again. All right, guys. All right, AMD with the gapper up, and it wants more. Okay, these things just won't stop. We'll look for pullbacks on AMD for sure. All right, and what are we trading? We're trading at we're trading basically unchanged. We got the 357.03 on the high, but we've pulled back now, and here we are back down to the 347.75. We're right to where we closed. All right, so AMD, they've already been moving. Okay, the question is, which chips are the best, and what stocks are going to go the farthest today? Okay, that's what the only day we have in the world is today. All right, AMD. All right, ARM here. ARM on the move here. Already had the gap up on Friday. It's gone, solid gone, but move to the upsides. All right. What I do look for is I look for another week up here. Once we start to see these big moves, here, let me flip that over. There you go. That's your monthly. All right. So we should be looking for more upside on these things, the way these things are going. All right. There's going to be some major pitfalls in there. Just guys are going to come in and take profits. All right. But just keep pushing on here. All right, pulling back down a little bit here at 229.79. If you're trading with these, I wouldn't be flipping on anything less than a 60. All right, if you're trying to reverse and try to get back up, if they come back down, I would move on 60s. Go down to a shorter time frame to get the position on. But other than that, lay cool. In the Discord, we got a collection of people that are all kind of like, mishmash. So we're getting a lot of different opinions, and that helps a lot. All right. So trying to build a community over here. All right. So see what happens with ARM today. All right, coming back down here a little bit right now, and that's what we like to see. Right. We like to see them coming back in because that creates opportunity for us. Micron, just. 600 soon. All right, 600 soon. To the upside here, 516.19 now. Again, all-time high stuff here. And we'll wait for pullbacks to come back, and we'll see. It looks like they want to continue to move with and it's all in the semis though. Remember that. All right. So every stock that I'm talking about is a semiconductor stock. All right. Qualcomm is up the big winner today. And now see it's surrendering as we get a little bit closer. So this is the guys that were trading in the overnights now. They're going to take some profits. All right. We'll see what this thing's $163.30. If you have that thing over the weekend, you're in the clicks, man. You're in the clicks. All right. So Qualcomm, it is starting to surrender, come back down. And wait, when they're coming down, remember I always say they always come down a little lower, so be prepared for that. All right. So Qualcomm, we'll see what happens here. Very nice move to the upside. This is a gapper crazy stuff. All right, crap. That's gonna be another gap in day up. All right, and watch those when you get those. When you get these, 222s up is one thing, but once you start going gap days, I get a little bit nervous about that. I think there's just way too much, and when they turn, it'll be sharp. All right, so Qualcomm, see if anything happens to that. Marvel, we know what Marvel's been doing. You guys know what's happening with Marvel. Finishes with the red day. She really did stall out on us big time on Friday, and that's what happened. She brought back in. She's back down to 160 now. What's the magic number that gets you back into to Marvel? Well, if I knew that, I probably wouldn't be talking to you guys. But looking at it on the 4 hour, I'm down into this area somewhere in here. All right, there could be a good support level at 154.10. I would like to see it get to 154.10 and see how the weather is there. All right, so I would be looking for this move to the downside. That would be $153.96. And that's not too far off here right now from where we are. All right, so see if Marvel can get any better from there. That is on your 4 hour, all right, and it's kind of stuck in the middle with you. Stuck in the middle with you, all right. So what else do we have here? Micron, Qualcomm, ALAB, ALAB. Now this is another one that's been beastie to the upside. This one, I kind of missed this one. It obviously it has these moments where it does that thing. So look at this day on the overnight. This is the overnight from now today, obviously going in, but this was on Friday, all right, and it had a nice move to the upside there. Kind of cooled off a little bit. ALAB, again, I'm down here, man. I'm down to 182.69. That seems like it's a long ways away. All right, but if we're going to break to the downside, we got to come back somewhere into something that's going to give us juicy to want to take a bite at it. All right, so we'll see what happens on ALAB. ALAB's been really, really good. Taiwan Semi, I made some money on Taiwan Semi trading it on the daily. It was just an amazing day yesterday, but it did stall out at the end of the day. All right, and the last 4 hour of the day, which is only 3 hours because the market closes, but she kind of stalled out here, and it looks like she's been stalling out as here as well. All right, again, this one I'm a little bit more. I'd like to break the 2 day. I'd love to break this day down and get back down to 393. I don't know if we're gonna get that. All right, but I'm looking for downside to get reversals to get back in. I think Taiwan Semi is going way higher. All right, that's my thoughts on that. When I say way higher, that means way higher. All right, so Taiwan Semi, very, very nice move there on that one. All right, what else do we have? Pega. I hope you guys got some Pega. I gave you guys a present, and I didn't get nothing in return. Pega, look at the day it had. All right, pull it up on the daily. All right, Pega. Remember I said don't buy it. There's red stuff everywhere, every single time frame. This thing's doing like some miracle stuff. All right, there's your day. This thing might just bullhorn it now, so we'll wait and see. It is better already this morning now, 37.33. She's right around where she closed. I kept that Pega overnight. We'll see what happens with that one. That one definitely looks a little bit better, but you're probably going to run into the month. You're already going to be tinkering around with the week here coming inside, so just if I got in down here, all right, I got down here, so I'm in a little better spot, you know what I mean? So I don't want you to go chasing it up there. I'd want you to wait for it to come back down. All right, so Pega, and she'll come back in as well. All right, so Marvel, Pega, Taiwan Semi, Micron, ARM, ALAB, Qualcomm, AMD. all of semis. All right, semis are on the move. All right, this is what the morning's about. We got the NASDAQ trying to go back up to the highs. I think I got a pretty good group that I'm looking at. Check me out on Twitter. I put a lot of names out on there as well. And then let's go through a couple of their groups and see what's going on. All right, so on the healthcare, Johnny John, there you go. All right, she finishes with the day down on Johnny John. I think Johnny John Don's better. Why is that up here? Let's get that 4-hour up and see what's cooking. 2-1 inside, kind of fell apart. I'm looking for this thing to move back up to the upside. Johnny John, I think Merck is good too, but I think it's still kind of sketchy with the month. You see the month is heavy, right? And it took the 3 down, and now it's trying to go back up inside, but we're running out of time. All right, we're running out of time. Today is the 27th of April. So on Friday, we're going to get unemployment numbers, and that's going to be the first day of our new month. All right, so it'll be interesting to see how this month finishes out. So Merck, I think definitely better. It's going to take some doing to get healthcare to get better here. All right, XLV still got the problems here with the day down and the month down, everything down. That's why I'm gonna keep talking about these, because I think they're gonna reverse. I want us to be on top of it. That's the reason why I talk about it. All right, and it could take some time on healthcare. You might get a bleep, like a fake rally to the move to the upside. But we don't want to be chasing that one either, all right? So we'll see what happens with that on healthcare. Regeneron is looking a little bit better here. REGN on the 4-hour. All right, if they want to give me the symbol, REGN. All right, there's your region trying to come back up. Regeneron, 2-1 inside. See if anything comes out of that. All right, Apple is lower. All right, industrials, wah. All right. Just can't seem to get it together. Stuck in the middle with you now on the 4-hour, stuck here right now. All right, so not telling us anything. Very, very much a lot of indecision and not making decisions. All right, so we'll see what happens with that one. Apple just finished with the 2-day down. So they're all getting their turn right now. Nvidia is probably going to still get some more upside. All right. And then Tesla will get its turn. Meta is not. Meta's down. So they're taking each sector. Look at Microsoft. It got down to 423. Probably goes right back up, but probably going to be some headaches in the way. All right. Semis today. All right. There's your move. Cisco. I don't know what's wrong with it, but somebody should take Cisco to the doctor, because something's going on. I'm telling you, Cisco, it's got a problem. Yeah, that problem better get fixed soon, man, because otherwise this thing's going to start really crapping out. All right, it just cannot get going here. Tree-M is looking a little better. Coca-Cola is holding up on your staples, on your XLP. We made a nice move on Friday, and today they're like, they're all right, not much doing, there you go, kind of stuck. Monster, I like. XLP, I like Coca-Cola, and I like Cisco, SYY, if you're inclined. All right, gonna get a food delivery over here. I like the way the weeks are setting up on that Cisco. That one looks pretty good to me. All right, on your discretionaries, I'm really a mixed here. Walmart's down, Target's down, Amazon's down, and Carvana's down. Domino's Pizza is a miss. We know about that. We know that Verizon's actually better, but that's in your XLC communication group. I don't have much to say about discretionaries right now. Energy looks real good. Energy looks real good this morning. All right, but stick with the semis across the board. We've got every semiconductor is moving to the upside. Everybody is breaking out. They're going higher. Micron is at now $516. Taiwan Semi back up to 420, guys. 420. These stocks are going higher. And then Thursday will be our first days of earnings. And if we get a couple of misses, look out below. But if we get even 2 good ones, get out of the way. All right, on that note, I'm going to leave it there. We'll see what the day brings. Be good.